What's up YouTube, and welcome to another draw along with me, where today we're going to create this paper style reef design. Now as always, there's a link to everything you're going to need in the description down below, the canvas size and the palette. And with all that said, let's get started. So once you've created your canvas, the first thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is go up to your layers. And let's go ahead and change the background color from white, and let's just double tap at the bottom of the disc here to select black, and then hit done when you're ready. Next, what we're going to do is on this empty layer, we're going to go up to our colors and we're going to take a look at the collection for today. And we're going to make our way from left to right across the top row and right to left across the middle row. So we're going to go round like so. So we're going to grab the first color in the top left hand side. We're going to go to our brush library and we're going to use, under calligraphy, we're going to use the script brush. Now if we tap on the script brush, you'll be able to see under stabilization, I've got a few different settings compared to normal, maxed out streamline and 50% stabilization. So when you're done, hit done. And then that will just give us some nice smooth wavy lines that we can just nicely create some beautiful curved shapes from. So to start with, all we're going to do is create two objects on either side, and they're going to be tiny little islands that we can then grow our little paper reef from. So I'm going to go ahead and start over here and just create a nice little sort of wobbly rounded shape like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and at the top here create another one. This one's going to be a little bit longer in shape, but nice and rounded on either end, and a little something like this. And then from there we go ahead and layer the shapes down. Now every time we draw on a layer, there's a few things we've got to do and repeat as we go. If we go up to our layers, we're going to swipe the layer to the left hand side and duplicate it. The bottom one out of the two. We're going to go ahead and go to our colors. We're going to switch it out to white, so double tap in the top left hand corner of the disc, and then grab white and drag and drop it into both of the shapes. Now you won't see any visual change just yet, but if we take a look at our layers, we've got the colored one above and the white one underneath. Swipe on the white one as well again to the left hand side and duplicate it, and then either one of them you can tap on it and invert it, so you'll end up with a colored one, a black one and a white one. And so for the white one here, we're going to go ahead and go up to our cursor, and all we're going to do is we're going to tap towards the top left hand corner, 1, 2, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. And you won't see too much of a visual change, but if we zoom in, currently we've got a nice little white outline around the left hand side edge of our little island there. And then if we go up to our layers and we grab the black shadow layer, if we grab our cursor and we tap down here in the bottom right hand corner, 1, 2, we'll have moved it in the opposite direction, creating a shadowed side, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. So for a moment, while we're working with some brighter tones, I'm going to go up to my background color. So let's go to our background color layer and just drag it here. So double tap here on the left hand side and pick the gray in the middle. That will just allow us, when we hit done, to see, when we zoom in, we've got a beautiful white crisp edge on the top left hand side and a shadowed edge towards the bottom right hand side. So then once you've created your outlines, there's only one more step to do for this shape and we can move on. Go up to your layers and pinch all three of them together. Then swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out of the two. Tap on it and alpha lock it. Go up to your colors. Double tap at the bottom of the disc to select black. Go back to the layer. Tap on the layer and fill it. And then tap on the layer and turn off the alpha lock. Then go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and then swipe from left to right, and we're going to add in a 12% Gaussian blur like so. Then grab your cursor and move it down towards the bottom right edge, a little bit like this. So there's a little shadow towards the top edge, but mainly the shadow towards the bottom right. Tap on your cursor and you're done with your first object. Then we can go ahead and move on. So we can pinch the shadow now to that layer above to save on our layers, and we repeat that step every time. Draw the shape, give a white crisp edge, give a dark shadow edge, create a shadow, and repeat. So I'm not going to skip ahead in this tutorial, we're going to do it all together and I can go through it step by step with you. So let's create another new layer and drag it underneath layer 1 there. Let's then go to our colors and switch it out for the next color. So the next color is the second one on the top row. And then all we do is just simply exaggerate this shape a little bit more, but more towards the bottom edge than the top edge. We're imagining that we're looking at the reef at a sort of 45-degree angle, so we're looking at it down this way. So we're going to see this area here more so than the area above. So we're going to go ahead now and just elongate this shape a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit to the top edge, but I'm obviously going to then just exaggerate this a little bit more in these areas here and make sure to fill the entire shape. And then we can go ahead and do the same at the top. So just creating a more of a thinner edge towards the top there, and then just creating some elongated versions, exaggerated versions, should I say, of the shape that we initially drew. And making sure it's nice and filled in, just make sure you fill in any gaps. And let's repeat the steps one more time. So we go up to our layers. We swipe on this layer to the left and we duplicate it. We go up to our colors and we double tap at the top left hand corner to select white. Go back down to your layers. And the bottom one out the two here for layer 2, we can tap on the layer, we can alpha lock it, we can tap on the layer, we can fill it, and we can tap on the layer and turn off the alpha lock. If we swipe this layer to the left and duplicate it, we don't need to switch to black. We can simply tap on either one of them. So tap on this one here and invert it. So it'll switch it from black to white. And let's repeat the steps we did before. So we grab the white layer here, grab our cursor, and we double tap twice towards the top left hand corner. So we tap twice, 1, 2, tap on your cursor when you're done. Then we go to our layers, we go to the black one, tap on your cursor, 1, 2, and then tap on your cursor again. Let's add a shadow, so we pinch all 3 of these layers together that we were just working on, all the layer 2s. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. Tap on the bottom one, tap on it and alpha lock it. To save switching to white, I'm just going to simply go ahead and tap on it and fill it with white, because I can just simply tap on it again and invert it, so it saves going up and changing colors every time. And then tap on the layer and turn off the alpha lock. So we've got a nice little shadowed version underneath. We just need to go up to our adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, adding in the same blur we did before, so 12%. Then grab your cursor and move this down towards the bottom right edge, leaving a little bit of that trickle towards the top edge, but mainly towards the bottom. Tap on your cursor when you're done, and that's it. We continue with this process over and over. So we can pinch the shadow now to layer 2, and we can work on layer 3. So let's create a new layer, drag it underneath, go to our colors and grab the first of the sort of the teal colors, so this 3rd color on the top row. We've still got the same brush, and we're just going to again start to exaggerate these shapes a little bit more. So we can start here, you can create little bumps if you want to, just really change up the shape if you feel like it's necessary. So we can create some nice rounded objects here. Maybe just exaggerate that a little bit more. And then I can go ahead and just make sure I drag and drop the color into the center there just to fill it out. Potentially you could then start to, again, just start to exaggerate little areas a little bit more so on the bottom edge. Let's start over here, and I'm going to really start to drag this area out a little bit more. So I'm just going to create like a little shape like this and just start to really change up this bottom landscape area here. And then go round at the top and drag and drop the color in. So we're really trying to gauge that perspective by adding a little bit to the top edge, but more so towards the bottom. Once you're happy with your shape, making sure you get nice smooth corners, we can then again go up to our layers and repeat the same steps. So it's easier now to go up to your colors and double tap to select white. Then go to your layers. Layer 3, let's swipe it to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the 2, tap on it, alpha lock it for a moment so that we can tap on it and fill it. And then we can tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. If we swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it, either one of them, we can tap on one and invert it. So we've got a black one and a white one for our nice crisp edges. Let's grab the white one first of all. Grab your cursor, double tap in the top left hand corner twice. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Then grab your layers, go to the black one, grab your cursor and double tap twice towards the bottom edge here to move that down. Tap on your cursor when you're done. And you may notice when you fill in a gap in the center of your shape, you may end up with a little bit of a dotted edge here. If that appears for you, it's no problem. Go to the colored layer and tap on it and make sure there's no alpha lock turned on. And all you need to do is just simply just overlap this line a little bit more. And then next time when we draw in, we'll make sure to adjust our color threshold. So just make sure you've got no gaps because it will be visible towards the end. You just need to paint over those manually sometimes. And then all we do is we pinch all three of layer 3s together. So we add the crisp edges to either side. We swipe the layer to the left and we duplicate it. The bottom one out the two, tap on the layer and alpha lock it. Tap on the layer and fill it with white. But then if we tap on it again and invert white to black, and then tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. So 4 steps on that one. We go up to our adjustments and we go to Gaussian blur and we swipe from left to right, adding in a 12% Gaussian blur. Then move straight up to your cursor and drag that down towards the bottom right edge again, just like so, and tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then move on to the next one. So we go up to our layers and pinch layer 3s together. We create a new layer and drag it underneath layer 3, so we're now on layer 4. We go up to our colours and we move on to the 4th colour. And let's repeat the same steps. So we're going to go ahead and just create some nice rounded shapes here first of all. Just get the basics of where I think I want to go with this particular one. We can go round here like so. And go round like that. And as I mentioned, if you've got a gap in the centre, you can drag and drop your colour in. And then drag your colour threshold at the top. And you want to move that all the way to the right hand side. And it should get rid of that little outline for you there. Let's then start to just round this point off a little bit more, pushing it this way, trying to get in a little bit more land. And you can create little sort of bumpy areas. They don't necessarily always have to be sort of smooth, big rounded objects. We can create nice bumps and lumps in here just to create more of that paper reef, as I mentioned. And then when you get closer towards the edge of the screen, that's going to be a really nice point where you could just literally just let that run off like so. And it's already starting to make its way closer to the edges of the screen. Let's then do the same over here. So I'm going to introduce it right on the edge here and then somewhat mimic that top edge. Like so. And then just going to bring this one under here. Just let that run out to the side. And then drag and drop my colour in. Again, dragging it all the way to the right. But if you go too far, it will fill the whole thing. It will bleed out of the object. So you just want to fill it until it nicely fills in the shape that you've got. And that's looking really cool now because it's mimicking each other. But I also need to just make sure that it's a little bit bigger towards that bottom edge. Just making sure we get a little bit more perspective from the bottom edge than the top. And then maybe even over here too. Just nice little shapes like that. Let's then go ahead and introduce the crisp edges. So let's go up to our layers. Let's swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. Let's go up to our colours and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Then go to your layers, tap on layer 4, tap on it and alpha lock it, tap on it and fill it. Then swipe it to the left and duplicate it and tap on one of them and invert it. So you've got a black one and a white one now. Grab the white one and repeat the steps. Grab your cursor. You may need to start zooming out of your canvas at this point because we're getting towards the edges of it. And then tap twice in the top left hand corner. So 1, 2, tap on your cursor. Then go to your layers and grab the black one. Then grab your cursor again and double tap towards the bottom right corner, adding in those beautiful little sharp edges. And then tap on your cursor when you're done. Then go up to your layers, pinch all of the layer 4s together. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it again. And the bottom one out the two, it's already alpha locked, so we can tap on it and fill it. If it's not, tap on it and alpha lock it first. But tap on it and fill it with white. And tap on it and invert it. And then make sure to tap on it one more time to turn off the alpha lock so we can blur it. Then go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, adding in a 12% blur. Then grab your cursor and just move that down towards the bottom right edge. Just like that, leaving a little bit of that shadow bleed over the top. Grab your cursor when you're done. And let's then go up to our layers and finish this off by pinching the 2 layer 4s together. Let's move on to layer 5 now, so let's create a new layer and drag it underneath. We're going to drag it underneath layer 4. We're going to go up to our colours and grab the next one, so it's this colour here, the 5th colour. And let's repeat. So I hope you're enjoying the tutorial up until now. And let's make sure people are paying attention at this stage. Let's see if we can create a random word. What word should we put in the comments section down below? maybe rhubarb custard. Type rhubarb custard if you're still following along, and for anybody that's already switched off, they will not know what you're talking about. So I've created this little shape towards the bottom. I'm just going to round this corner off here, and I'm going to drag and drop the colour in like so. Let's then go ahead and do the same at the top here. So at certain stages, you want to maybe just keep it quite tight to the top edge and then let it bleed out. So just like this, so it looks as if it's just almost like a steep drop behind it. And then as you come around here, that's when you can start to reveal, you know, the perspective a little bit more from this angle. So we're just going around there here and let that run out towards that left-hand side. I just want to leave that little gap there for a moment, see if we can drag that out a little bit longer. Drag and drop the color in. Is there anything I want to just adjust, maybe a little something like that? Maybe in here, I can just bring this round here a little bit more now. So to bleed that round. Let's then see if we can add in some little bumps and lumps in here. Just creating that little bit of randomness to it. Let's then go up to our layers and repeat the same steps. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out of the two. Go up to your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Then go to your layer, tap on the layer and alpha lock it, and tap on the layer and fill it. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. Either one of them, tap on it and invert it. So you've got a black one and a white one. Grab the white one first of all, grab your cursor and tap twice towards the top left hand corner. So 1, 2, then tap on your cursor when you're done. Then grab your layers and go to the black version. Grab your cursor and tap twice towards the bottom right. 1, 2. Then go up to your layers. Pinch all 3 layer 5s together. Swipe on layer 5 to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the 2, tap on it and fill it. Tap on it and invert it. And tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. Then go up to your adjustments. Gaussian blur and swipe from left to right, added in a 12% blur. Then grab your cursor and move it down towards the bottom right edge until we just reveal a little bit of that shadow, but the darkness is more so towards this bottom right edge. Now don't worry if when we zoom in here, as we're starting to move the layer as a whole towards the bottom right, we're going to start to slowly reveal gaps on the edges. Now don't worry about that for now, because at the end we'll simply just crop in a little bit on the image or scale it up, and we'll get rid of any errors there on the left hand side or otherwise the right hand side too. Let's then go up to our layers now and pinch the 2 layer 5s together and work on layer 6. So create a new layer and drag it underneath. Now there's quite a lot of colors here to get through, so we're going to make our way through them as quickly as we can. So we're going to go from layer 5 to layer 6. So we're going to grab the 6th color here. And then when we start to draw on, we're going to slowly start to consider the height. So this is kind of the very top areas. As I mentioned, with creating the height, we want to maybe just sort of reveal it in behind certain ledges. What I mean by that is if I go ahead and sort of bring this round here. So I'm going to start out here, bring in a little bit like that, but then hide it underneath, say this point here, and then reveal it underneath, and then reveal it here as it runs off to the edge. So by doing this, letting this bit overhang this bit, we're creating a bit of height now, as if we're going to slowly get into this cavern here. I want to make it so you're looking right down into the real depths of this paper reef essentially. And then we can do that on the top as well, so we don't go too far adrift from the original shape, and we just sort of hide it in behind certain lumps and bumps here and there. Let that run all the way to the edge, and then drag and drop your color in like so. On this edge here we can do exactly that, and we want to make sure from this point onwards that the gap that we create, let's just draw in something like that, this gap here needs to be a little bit smaller than this area here. Because of the way the perspective's about to work, we need to make sure that we can see this sort of big ridge as it goes all the way down into the depths, and then this one here, it's sort of rolled over on itself to a point where we can't really see it from this angle anymore. So let's do exactly that. Let's come down here, we can reveal it in certain little gaps. Just don't want to be too generous with it, and then just let that all the way run to the side. And then here is where we can start to be a bit more generous with this one, so like that. And then in this corner here, I can just about get away with one more layer that just runs from here. So I've gone all the way across and then create just a tiny little cut off in the corner so that I can drag and drop my color in, and we've got that one there. And that's already looking exactly how we need it in terms of this little bit of depth here. Maybe I can go ahead and just create one extra little bump in there, and that will work nicely. Let's go ahead and repeat the same steps. So let's go up to our layers. Let's go ahead and swipe layer 6 to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the two. I'm going to tap on it, and then we're going to go to our colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. We're then going to go to our layers. We're going to tap on the layer and alpha lock it, and tap on it and fill it. We're then going to swipe it to the left and duplicate it, and then tap on either one of them and invert it to black. Grab the white layer, grab your cursor, and double tap twice in the top left hand corner. 1, 2. Tap on your cursor when you're done, and then grab your layers, go to layer 6, grab your cursor, and then tap twice towards the bottom right. 1, 2, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then go to our layers and pinch all of the layer 6s together. Swipe layer 6 again to the left to duplicate it. Tap on the bottom one, which should still be alpha locked. Tap on it and fill it. Tap on it and invert it. And then finally tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. Then go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, adding in, guess what? Another 12% blur. Then we're going to grab our cursor and move it down towards that bottom right, again leaving a little bit of spillage here on the top edge, but more so on this bottom edge there, and making sure we move it off to the right hand side just a little bit for the perspective, a little bit like that, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. So let's go ahead and go to our layers and pinch layer 6s together, and let's create a new layer and work on layer 7. So drag it all the way to the bottom, grab your colors, and then we're going to move across to color 7. So we're going to take a look at where that sits, which is just here, and then start to draw in again. So again, we're going to make it kind of skinny at the top. So just, creating it nice and random though. It doesn't want to sort of mimic the shape too much or too consistently. So just a little bit in behind these gaps here. Just let that run off to the right hand side. And then on this area here, I'm going to start to bring in a curve in the corner. Just a little curve. Hide that in behind there, in between this gap here. Just making it grab that perspective a little bit like this, and then even just let this one run just to there. So you can see I've added the very little amount here, again just in those gaps, just so that we can see a skinny little slither of it as we look down into this little cavern, because we've got a lot of colors to get through, so we can't be too generous with the spacing just yet. And then make sure you go ahead and drag your color in, of course. Here, as again, we're going to keep this really skinny. Maybe just create some bumps and lumps in here though, just so that we can just take away and chisel away at it a little bit, but not a great deal. You can see there I've just got a couple of little bumps in there. And then here I'm going to again curve this round, creating a nice little swoop on that corner. And then pretty much now, because we've gone edge to edge here and edge to edge here, I can fill in this little gap by just simply dragging and dropping the color in. Now from there, always take a second just to see if there's any sort of areas you think you could emphasize, just to really elongate the sort of depth here, and just see if there's any little areas you want to maybe roughen up a little bit rather than keeping them relatively smooth and rounded. And then let's go up to our layers and swipe layer 7 to the left and duplicate it. Grab the bottom one out the two. Go up to your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Go back to the layer. Tap on the layer and alpha lock it. Tap on the layer and fill it. Swipe it to the left and duplicate it. And then either one of them, tap on it and invert it. So you've got your black one and your white one. Grab the white one. Grab your cursor. Tap twice in the top left hand corner. So it's 1, 2. Then tap on your cursor when you're done. Then go to your layers, go to the black one, grab your cursor and tap twice in the bottom right. 1, 2. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then merge all of layer 7s together, so pinching them all together like so. Swiping the layer to the left and duplicating it. Tap the bottom one, tap on it and fill it with white currently, but then tap on it invert it, and then tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. Go up to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and we'll swipe from left to right, adding in that 12% shadow. Grab your cursor, move it down towards the bottom right just a smidge, keeping a little bit of that shadow towards the top edge there, and tap on your cursor when you're done. Now, if at this stage you're really running out of space, you don't have to use every color. Potentially you may want to jump ahead a color just to start to get into those darker tones. So for me, I think I was at the 7th one along. So we were at, where were we? We were at this one here. I'm going to jump straight to the second from right one. So I'm going to grab this one here for a moment. I've got lots of colors in there in case you're really fine with your details. So it's up to you what you want to do, but I'm jumping to this one here, the second from right on the top row. I'm then going to go to my layers. Let's pinch layer 7s together, not forgetting to do that. Let's create a new layer and drag it underneath towards the bottom and repeat our steps that we've been doing previously. So we're going to come across this edge here this time. That darker tone's looking lovely. I'm just going to simply just follow this one pretty much edge to edge there. Towards the bottom, I'm going to start to bring in a little lump in that corner there. Follow this along and maybe just tuck it in here. There's a lid or something in there. I'm going to come around this little ledge again, in something in that corner, but then be really, really skinny with it, just hiding it underneath there. Making sure, of course, to drag and drop your color in to fill it in, making sure we don't forget that. Here on this edge here, I'm going to make this really, really skinny at this point now and not create too many bumps and lumps. If anything, just straight lines across almost. And in this corner here, I'm going to exaggerate the curves that are already there and drag and drop my color into the main body area of it. Let's then go ahead and go to our layers. Let's add the crisp edges. So swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. Tap on the bottom one. Go up to your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Go to your layers. Tap on the layer and alpha lock it. Tap on the layer and fill it. Swipe it to the left and duplicate it. And tap on either one of them. Tap on it and invert. Make sure on the white one, grab your cursor and double tap in the top left hand corner twice. Tap on your cursor when you're done. And then go back to your layers, grab the black version, grab your cursor and tap twice towards the bottom right corner. So 1, 2, and tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then merge all of those layer 8s together. So we've added the crisp edges, we can merge them together. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the 2, tap on it, it will be alpha locked, you can fill it. You can tap on it and invert it to black, and then tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. Go up to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, say it out loud, I'll be able to hear you. Swipe from left to right, adding in, I heard you, 12% Gaussian blur. And let's move that down towards the bottom right edge, just adding in that beautiful little shadow there. And then tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then go to our layers. Let's then pinch layer 8s together. Let's create a new layer and drag it underneath. We're now working on layer 9. Now again, my gap's getting really small here, so I'm going to go to my colors, and I was working on this one here. I'm going to jump down a color straight away, so the second from right, but on the middle row now. So this color here. I'm then going to go ahead and start drawing that in. So let's go up here. I'm going to add in a little bit of definition on this occasion. Just a little bit. Some of these ledges may stick out, and you can go up to the edge if you want to, be a bit bold. Let's then just bring this round like so and off to that top right corner. It's in here, again, we have to really consider the space we've got. So some of them may be really, really skinny. I'm going to make this one really skinny. I'm not going to add anything really in here. I'm just going to make sure I create one long line, of course, though. Just the odd little bump and lump, maybe just in this curve here, and just round into there as well. Just enough so that I can drag and drop my color in. And then of course we need to add a little bit here too. Now on this one, again, I'm not going to add anything. I'm just going to pretty much run my pen that matches up to the edge there, edge to edge. And then now that we've got right close to this edge, you may be able to just get away with one more curve. I don't think I can. Maybe I could. Let's just create a little curve in there. and then drag and drop your color in to that space as well. Let's then go up to our layers and of course add in the nice crisp edges. So swipe it to the left and duplicate the layer. Tap the bottom one out the two. Grab your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Then go to your layer, tap on the layer and alpha lock it. Tap on the layer and fill it. Swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. And tap on any one of them and invert it. So you've got a black one and a white one. Grab the white one. Grab your cursor and tap twice in the top left hand corner, 1, 2, and then go to your layers, grab the black one, grab your cursor and tap twice in the bottom right hand side, so 1, 2, and then tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's then merge those layers together, so we're going to go up to our layers and merge all of the layer 9s together. Swipe layer 9 to the left and duplicate it, the bottom one out the two. Tap on it and fill it with white for a moment because it's alpha locked already. Tap on the layer and invert it to black. And tap on the layer and turn off the alpha lock. Then go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, adding in that 12% shadow there. Grab your cursor and move that down just a little bit, down towards the bottom right, like so. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Let's move on to the next one. So let's go up to our layers. Let's pinch layer 9s together, add the shadow, create a new layer, drag it underneath. We're on layer 10 now. We're then going to go up to our colors. I was working on the second from right. I'm going to move along 2 to the left. So I'm going to grab this one here. So the fourth one from the right. And we're going to draw in the next one. So starting at the top, we just add in this edge as always. Nice little sort of edge to edge now because we've got this little point in the middle. And I think I can maybe just get away one more time, just adding a little swoop in there. In our little cavern here, I'm going to go ahead and create a little curve in this corner. I'm going to grab a little bump there. I'm going to let this just sort of bounce my pen in behind here. We're getting such a tiny little space here now that you can't really see what I'm necessarily drawing. But if you see there, there's a little gap here. And I'm just carrying this on in the tiniest little gap, a little bit of coverage here, a little bit, I'll cut the corner there pretty much. Go around here, I'm going to drag it right to the edge. Maybe add in a little bump there, for example. And then here, we're pretty much at a stage now where I can go from this point that I just ended off and go all the way around pretty much in a straight line. I'm not going to add any more to this side because now the perspective is completely dropped off, and I can drag my color now into this bottom space here and make sure I drag it into the top space there as well. So we then go up to our layers. Let's add in our crisp edges. So let's go ahead and swipe layer 10 to the left and duplicate it, the bottom one out the two. Go up to your colors, double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Go back to your layer, tap on it and alpha lock it, tap on it and fill it, swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it, and tap on either one of them and invert it. So you've got a black one and a white one. Grab the white one, grab your cursor. You may need to start to zoom out now because we pretty much filled the canvas from top to bottom, and tap twice in the top left hand corner. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Go to your layers and go to the black one. Grab your cursor. Again, let's move this one out of the way. Into the bottom right, tap twice. 1, 2. Then grab your layers. Pinch all of layer 10s together. And swipe the layer to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out the two. We tap on it. We fill it. We tap on it. We invert it. And we tap on it. And we turn off the alpha lock. We go up to our adjustments. Gaussian blur and swipe from left to right. Adding in that 12% blur. Grab your cursor and move it down towards the bottom right edge. Just tap on your cursor when you're done. And we're very nearly there. We're getting into the real gritty area here now. So let's go up to our layers. Let's pinch layer 10s together. Let's then go ahead and create another new layer. Layer 11. We're going to drag that underneath layer 10. We're going to go to our colors. So I was working with the fourth color from the right, which was this one here. I'm now going to go ahead and grab this one here now. So it's the fifth color from the right, this one just here. And we're going to go ahead and repeat. So let's now start to get rid of this top corner because we would need it to all end at the same time. So I'm just going to fill that in that little space there. There's nothing really to fill in here, so I'm going to leave that for now. We can take a look into our little cavern, cut the corner maybe again, mimic that little bit there. I think my layers are slowly about to touch in terms of either side. So I'm just going to bring my pen all the way through that little cavern there. Really, the only space I've got left to work with is here. This is really where the depth is going to show quite a bit. So we're going to just come around this edge here, like so. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and continue to draw all the way to this edge over here. If I drag and drop my color into this top area, it will actually drag it into both. But just in case yours doesn't work like that, just make sure you drag it into both. It depends on what your design looks like at this stage. Let's then go up to our layers. Layer 11, we're going to swipe it to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out of the two, tap on it and alpha lock it. Then go up to your colors and double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Go to your layers, tap on the layer and fill it with white. Swipe it to the left and duplicate it. And tap on the top one and invert it to black. Grab the white one, grab your cursor, zoom out of our canvas a little bit and double tap in the top left hand corner twice. 1, 2. Tap on your cursor. Then go to your layers and grab the black one. Grab your cursor again and tap twice towards the bottom right. 1, 2. And then tap on your cursor when you're done. Go to your layers and let's pinch all the 11s together. Let's then swipe it to the left and duplicate it. Tap on layer 11, the bottom one out the two. Tap on it and fill it. Tap on it and invert it. And tap on it and turn off the alpha lock. Go up to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, adding in that 12% blur. Grab your cursor and just move it down a smidge towards that bottom right corner. And tap on your cursor when you're done. So let's go to our layers and pinch layer 11s together. Create another new layer, layer 12, and drag it underneath. Let's then go up to our colors. Now I think we were working on this one here just a moment ago. Let's move to this color here. So that's the third from end color. And then from here, let's just get this top area start to be filled in a little bit more. So just banking that out in that top corner. And then really, the only thing I need to necessarily do for the layer at this point for myself is I'm going to just sort of work here, creating a little lump in there, little bumps and lumps, and just go round and create a loop. So I've created a little sort of bumpy rounded loop in here. And because the rest of the layer can now be filled in with blue, we can just simply drag and drop it into that space. Let's then go up to our layers again. Layer 12 needs the nice crisp edges treatment, so we're going to swipe it to the left and duplicate it. The bottom one out of the two, tap on it and alpha lock it. Go up to your colors, double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Go back to the layer, tap on it and fill it. Swipe it to the left and duplicate it. Tap on layer 12 and invert it. And then go ahead and grab the white one. Grab your cursor and tap twice in the top left. 1, 2. Tap on your cursor. Then grab your layers and grab the black version. Grab your cursor again. Maybe move your canvas out of the way and tap twice towards the bottom right. 1, 2. Tap on your cursor when you're done. And then go up to your layers. Pinch all the layer 12s together. Swipe it to the left and duplicate it. Tap on layer 12, the bottom one. Tap on it and fill it with white. Tap on it and invert the white to black. And tap on the layer and turn off the alpha lock. So we can go up to our beautiful friend, the Gaussian blur under adjustments, and swipe from left to right, adding in that 12% blur. And grab your cursor and drag it down towards the bottom right, like so, just a little bit. Tap on your cursor when you're done. We've got the tiniest little space left in here now. Let's then start to round this off a little bit more. So let's go up to our layers. Let's pinch layer 12s together to add the shadow. Let's grab our next layer, layer 13, and drag it underneath layer 12. go up to your colors, and we're going to go ahead and grab the last color now. So this one here. What we're then going to do is at the top here, I'm going to create one sort of little bump just in here, like so, just the tiniest little bit. And then here, we're going to nicely round this off. So I'm going to go ahead and again, create basically a circled loop, but bumpy depending on the landscape that you've drawn. So I'm going to just create a little something like this, and also bring it in from this edge as well. So a little something like that. And make sure that's nice and rounded on the end. We want it to be nice, soft objects. Little something like that. And of course, because we've just drawn a little loop there and a circle, drag and drop the color into this space here. Then go up to your layers, swipe layer 13 to the left and duplicate it. Then go ahead and on the bottom one, go up to your colors, double tap in the top left hand corner to select white. Then go to your layers, tap on the layer and alpha lock it. Tap on the layer and fill it. Swipe that layer to the left and duplicate it. The top one, tap on it and invert it. Then grab the white one. Grab your cursor. Again, just zoom out of your canvas. Tap twice in the top left hand corner. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Then go to your layers. Let's grab the shadow one, the black one. Grab your cursor and tap twice in the bottom right. 1, 2. Then tap on your cursor when you're done. Then go to your layers and pinch all of layer 13 together. And this one, you don't need to add a shadow to it because all we're going to do is just go to our background color. We're going to switch it from that gray. I'm going to switch it back to black. So double tap at the bottom of the disc there to select black and hit done when you're done. So that's it in terms of creating the landscape. Now what we're going to do is just add in some really easy to do dynamic shadows, and that will just really emphasize the little landscape that you've created and spent all this time on. So we're going to go up to our layers now. If you go right to the very top, we're going to go ahead and tap on layer 2 here, and we're going to create a new layer. We're then going to tap on the N for normal and change its layer effect from normal to darker color. Then go ahead and go to your colors, and we're going to grab this color here in the bottom left, so it's right in this sort of dark spectrum here of the blue. What we're then going to do is just go to our brush library. We're going to go to airbrushing and the soft airbrush. Make your opacity 100% and size wise something small enough that you feel like you can get into the sort of nooks and crannies of this. You may need to increase your size up and down. Now my size is currently set to, let's drop it to 5%. And we're going to go ahead and start adding in some extra little shadows. So we're underneath this layer here. So for example, we're just underneath that one there. So we can start to maybe emphasize in little grooves here and there. I'm just going to start drawing in straighter lines, just very lightly in certain areas. Just add in some little shadows here and there. So maybe just another little shadow here over on that edge. But mainly it's going to be down in these areas that we can really bring this all to life a little bit more. So potentially let's go ahead and just sort of darken up this little ledge here a little bit more. And then let's zoom in. This little sort of gap here, we can go ahead and start to really add in some colors in there. So let's just darken this up by just drawing in straight lines very lightly, just adding in some extra little shadows in there. And that just adds in that extra little bit of depth. We can do the same here as well. So just avoiding this top ledge, I'm just gonna put in a little shadow here under there. So it's just removing a bit of the light essentially. And then also I'm gonna darken up in this corner here. So you kind of want to pick a ledge that you want to go up to and then start to just run up to that and just create little shadowed ledges in there. You can see it just creates a much more dynamic looking landscape there on the edge. We can do the same down in here. So where I've got this little ledge sticking out, I can just very lightly here just bounce this pen up and down up into that ledge and just darken it up underneath it as if it's creating a casted shadow a little bit more. Potentially here as well, we can just darken this up and maybe darken it up all the way to the side there. Just creating a little bit of light that touches onto there. And you can spend as much time as you want on this step. We can go ahead and just under here, so maybe just darken this shadow up a little bit and push that out to the right. Likewise here as well, just darken that up. We can maybe go ahead and just sort of darken up here, make it look like it really drops off. So just darken that up a little bit. If you get too close to an edge, you can always go to your eraser, maybe switch it out from the airbrush to the medium airbrush, and then just sort of erase along that line just to sharpen up that little shadow, just in case you run a little bit too far with that. If I switch back to my brush now, I'm going to go ahead and just emphasize this area here, creating a little bit more of a shadow in there. And they only look that good when you zoom out, because at first when you're right into it and you're in here, it looks like you're just sort of blotching in a lot of shadow unnecessarily. But once you start to zoom out and you take a look at what you actually achieve, it looks awesome. You've got these nice extra shadows in there. I'm going to go ahead and now, for example, I've got this ledge here that makes its way out quite a bit, and I'm just going to darken up all the way down in there and darken it up all the way into the cavern underneath, just to really emphasize that that reaches over the top and has an effect on everything else underneath it. I'm going to do the same just in there as well. So you end up with this little ledge here with just a little bit of color, potentially here as well. We're just trying to adjust the landscape, making it look like this here casts a shadow underneath onto everything else. So I start to just loop this round, trying kind of mimicking that shape a little bit. Just very lightly just pushing that out onto that right hand side, creating a nice cool shadow like that. This edge here, you're not really going to add too many shadows to, if any, because all the lighting is hitting that edge, so we're working with a nice bright side up there. So here I just need to go ahead and just soften this up just a little bit more. And then taking a look at my design so far, I am finished with that as it is. So I'm going to pinch with 2 fingers and go full screen with 4, and we end up with today's finished design. So I hope you enjoyed this 3D sort of paper looking reef. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please drop a like down below, helps the channel out an awful lot. And of course, be sure to share your designs with me over on Instagram when you're done. The links to all my socials are in the description down below, so you can go and check them out. As always, a massive shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. I'll throw their names up on the screen. Patreon supporters get access to 3 exclusive tutorials every single month. And if you want to get even more tutorials from me, you can see the latest 3 that are on the screen now as well. Patreon supporters also get early access to videos, sneak peeks of upcoming designs, and much, much more. So hit the link in the description down below and come and check it out. And as always, if you're interested in any of the equipment I'm using, the Sketchboard Pro that you can actually use code JOELCREATE to get yourself 10% off of, or a Paperlike screen cover that I use, or the pen tips grip and glove, there's links to all my equipment in the description. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next one.